Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Team Secret, let's see what they got hiding in their box. Hellraisers on the other side. The Coles are on fire for this one. At least they're using their Christmas gifts to maximum efficiency. Welcome again. It's EWEL Relegations. I'm Alex the Medic, your host for the show. And with me are Tim and Jack. It's Ace and Fresh. You're looking fresh, both of you today. I look like a certain detergent brand personality. It's a fun day for
You wear it well. You wear it well, man.
Thank you very much. I'm very sanitary in that way. How about we have a chat about our two teams fighting for their spot in EU League 2022? It doesn't get any better or with higher stakes than this. This is the biggest event we'll have at the end of this year. So great for us to all experience it together. First up, our challengers, Hellraisers. They've come up through Challenger League. They bump heads with M&M and lost in that best of 5. Great game that we have 3-1 for M&M who qualified, but Hellraisers still have a second shot today against Team Secret. Tim, your thoughts?
I like watching this Hellraiser side. They've got a lot of talent, that much is for sure. As we've said, there's a little bit of a split in the roster in terms of performance sometimes, and with Smash and Amision really picking up a lot of that heavy lifting, but we have seen the others stepping up as well. So they've got the capability. My concerns that I have for Hellraisers come in their recent results. So they dropped out of both open qualifiers for SI, which have been in the last few days, last few weeks, both in overtime. And Team Secret's win was 2-0 against the team that knocked Hellraisers out. I know you can't line it up that directly and say, well, this team beat them and then they beat them, so they must be better. But you have to look at it to a degree to say, Hellraisers couldn't get their game over the line. Team Secret went in and swept through that and did it. So for me, I've got a little bit of a concern there with Hellraisers of them just being able to close games out.
And I think that's what they struggle with as well, is when they've got a mission, when they've got Smash, when they're firing, they look like a really good team. But when they're not, they really struggle to just accumulate rounds and get themselves over that line. We saw it even in the one game that they did win. Flares, he played pretty poorly throughout the whole of Coastline. He came up in one big round, and that's what they need from people. They need big rounds rather than a team performance, and that's my big worry with Hellraisers.
All right, and on the other side, it's Team Secret, our resident UK team in EUL, which surprisingly, blew my mind when I saw it, but apparently all of our UK talent here in EUL voted for them.
That doesn't look good.
I can't imagine how that happened.
No.
I don't know. Well, will they be able to take it today? They've known that they've been in relegation spot for pretty much 2-ish months now.
And that's one of the things that they're going to be using to their advantage. There's maps they didn't play through stage 3. They will have potentially reworked some stuff on their maps, and they've got a lot of footage. I know Titan and their analyst Sleepy that they've got as well. They're quite big on reviewing their opponents. Hellraisers have played tons of maps throughout CL, throughout SI Open qualifiers, so they've got a lot of footage on them, whereas Secret themselves, they've not played anything realistically other than the open qualifiers, and they won't have been banning their normal way during that. So they've got that in the bank. And also, Secret have been working with a mental coach as well, because we know that, especially for Kendrew, there's always been a question around his mentality and whether he's got a kind of tilt on him. And some of the other Secret players as well with their mentality, they've been working with a mental coach. And from what I understand from Titan, their mental kind of fortitude has increased tenfold. So they'll be looking to rely on that plus a good map pool today, I imagine.
And I think that's super important, because I was going to say I've backed Secret not because it's the UK thing. I've looked at it and I thought they've had good results coming through those open quals, got themselves to close quals. Within the team, it must feel like they've turned a corner.
Yes.
They've really struggled in EUL, and now all of a sudden, they might be going to Invitational. They're a couple of games away. That's big for them. I'm backing the Secret resurgence. I'm hoping that's the Secret that we see and not the one that we saw from EUL. And if that mental game is there, like you say, that tilt factor, it needs to stay out of this game. They need to come in. They're going to be under a lot of pressure, but I think they can do it.
Yeah, and I think in one of the SI games, because that's the most recent time we've seen them, the open qualifiers, I think they were 2-6 down in one of the games. And they managed to have that mental fortitude to bring it back. Bear in mind, this is a best of 1 and you're out of the bracket in the open qualifiers. They managed to bring that back and then go on the run right through the bracket to win it. This was one of the first games. So if they can utilise that in a positive way today, even if they drop a map, just keep churning it out, I think they'll be okay.
And our head-to-head, you guys picked one player out of each one of these two teams. We have them up, and they're actually the top 2 performers on their team. Is Spash by Ash and Kendrew. Now, Do they fill similar roles, Jack?
Not really.
Huh.
And that's normally when we do a head-to-head, we look at two players that do the similar roles. Now we've gone for the top 2 rated players, or the top rated player on each team. Now Smash, we know he has fantastic performances. We saw him go absolutely nuclear last week at certain points. And really we wanted to focus on Kendrew, because Kendrew was brought in on stage 3 for Team Secret, and he had an okay split. But the fact that he's the top-rated player on that team means there's other people, you know, there's Gomfi, there's Keenan on Secret that aren't turning up. So it's just to highlight that Secret have had consistency issues within individuals, and that's led to the kind of IGL more supportive player. You see his main attacker there, Kali. It's a supportive player that shouldn't be as the top-rated player. So that's where both teams here have players that need to up their individual performance.
And not only that, they have to contend with the fact that it's a best-of-5 series. And we saw Hellraisers struggle with that, something that everybody's been saying in their match versus M&M, that this is M&M's strength. This is something that Secret can exploit. Of course, they've had a week to prepare through it. So have Hellraisers. So which will be our maps? We have all 5 to play through today. Here's what they look like. And we're starting with Pick, Pick, Ban, Ban, and then Pick, Pick, Decider. First, Hellraisers picking Bank, where they start on attack.
Yep.
Chalet defense for Team Secret. Oregon. That's Hellraisers pick attack, the attacking side, Secret on Villa. And Cafe Dostoevsky is our final spot with Secret on defense. Tim, your overall thoughts on the map?
I am so surprised that Hellraisers have picked Bank to start with. Said nobody ever.
I was about to say.
I watched that opener.
Said nobody ever. You know, they've come in and they've picked their absolute, by far and away, country mile best map. So no surprises whatsoever to see Hellraisers picking Bank up there. When I look, I think this is a game for maybe Secret to win in the late stages. I don't know if you agree, Jack. Coming in there, Villa, Cafe, I think it's going to be very, very difficult if it gets into those late stages for Hellraisers.
Yep.
Hellraisers need to win this in 3, maybe 3-1. You know, they need to be getting it done before they end up on those last 2.
And I think Secret's mental could be tested here, because Secret have picked Chalet, which is Secret's favourite map. It is also one of Hellraiser's favourite maps aside from Bank.
Yep.
So Hellraisers, I know they didn't look particularly good on Chalet against M&M, but that's because M&M are obviously very good at it. So there is a real scenario here where Secret could be 2 maps down and then are really tested coming into the later maps.
Yep.
The later maps definitely suit Secret, I believe. And it's not surprising seeing the bans. Secret, you know, there's that old adage, you don't take a Russian team to Clubhouse. They're not doing that. Hellraisers, they don't like Coastline. It's been their Insta-ban. They were forced to play it against M&M, but they came through it. But again, they won't want to play it. They just get rid of it.
It was an odd. It started off with a couple rounds that were won off of C4s that just sailed into spawn. So, yeah, there's some dirty tricks being used there to get as much mileage out of it as humanly possible. But as our lobby is ready, our final thoughts on all of this. Map 1, Bank, Hellraisers on attack. This is their strongest map. This is their pick. Tim? Yes, I see.
Oh, I wanted to come in on this. Can I steal it from you?
All I was going to say was it's essential win for Hellraisers.
It's an essential win, but they lost it in the SI Open quals against Makers.
There you go.
And Secret haven't played it. They might have something in store for this map.
Tim?
As I said, really important that Hellraisers come out strong here. I think they win it quickly, or I don't see them winning it. You know, given past performances, given the way they've not closed things out, I think it has to happen quickly for Hellraisers, or Team Secret will grind them down.
Fair enough. Well, when we come back, we'll talk about Bank and more maps in the future, but we're here for the action, and we're here to deliver it. So thank you very much, Fresh and Ace. Friends, it's Secret versus Hellraisers, a best-of-5 series on our Saturday. How beautiful can the holidays be? Oh, trust me, there's going to be a lot of gifts underneath many players' trees through this week. And let's toss it to our casters. It's map 1 with Bank, Hellraisers on attack. And we got M and Hap to take us through it. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milos, and I love the little bell. They were being quite noisy over there, especially because I think Dez is asleep in the tiny little house at the front of the set.
Oh, could be.
It is Dez-shaped and sized, and that's where he is, so I hope they keep it down. But we get to be very noisy over here, and we have a reason to, as one of these teams is going to be in T1 for the next year. They will have their EUL 2022 spot, and one of these teams, they won't be, and that is a much closer graphic
definitely is.
than when they played M&M last weekend.
It definitely is a closer graphic here indeed, and we're quickly going to be putting up some of the other achievements on the board here. Team Secret is a team, of course, that has made it to the closed qualifiers for the 6th Invitational, whereas Hellraisers failed to do so. No more qualifiers either, so no more opportunities. So we could be ending up in a situation where Secret actually goes to SI, but wouldn't be making it to EUL. That would be something else. But of course, we're not there yet. The close qualifiers still need to happen. This match is only just getting started right now. It's the Thatcher that gets her move first. Quite a default ban, and potentially will be followed up with either a Hibana, but most definitely a Cade.
Bank's quite a good map to open up on. As they sort of pointed out on the desk, it's not one that massively swings into a favor of either team so much. Hellraisers, obviously, they have a preference for it. They wanted to bring it. They wanted to bring it against a team that doesn't really have a preference for it. It's not been in Secret's wheelhouse, and when we've seen it in Hellraisers, it's not been the strongest map. But Bank from Russian teams has had some play and has had some sort of build-up, and you would make the assumption that a lot of Hellraiser's scrim partners are teams from the CIS region, are teams that will have some very good ideas and impressions that they can put down on a map, and that might be something that swings into their favor on this opener. Valkyrie and Hibana, a fair follow-up. And yeah, I'm excited to get this big sort of playoff underway.
There it is, the Cade. So 3 of them predicted, 3 of them right. 4th one was a bit of a gamble.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
It's technically your job.
It's technically my job. That is very.
But I'm still proud of you.
As soon as the Thatcher comes out on Bank, you basically know how 2 of the others will go. And,
yeah.
You know, the Valkyrie is kind of a default ban as well to some extent. So no real counter bans to specific players coming out as of yet. But that might all still change, of course. Now you can instantly see who's got the snowball packs here by the backgrounds and the visual skin.
I love the little mozzie. Little Christmas.
Yeah, I love it too. The nice thing is actually, right, some of these skins are not allowed to be played, but you can use the operator cards.
You can use and you can use the animations as well.
You can use the animations
Starting
as well.
to see elite animations once again. It's been such a long time since they were allowed. I love it. It also makes you realize how some of the earlier animations, when they weren't expecting this, are a little bit lackluster compared to...
Now you have
the
Ace
operators are a bit lazy.
Slides in.
Ace slides in on the new one, posts to his Instagram and his socials.
Just to get 5 likes.
Just to get 5 likes.
It is a tough influencer life. Either way, we are getting started with the bottom floor here. Secret is on that defense, and they're starting to, make sure that that first floor is somewhat fortified. Comfy, barricading off some of the doors, closing up the wall towards the small side office as well, just to make sure that hard breach material needs to be used to create a line of sight. And that might be very important because, first of all, the Hibana has been removed, which leaves you with limited gadgetry, which you can use to open up these hatches. That's why they brought Rush with the can openers, 2 of them, together with Flarzo, who has 2 extra thermics, enough to open up every single hatch necessary.
You're going to see a lot of cams in the pockets of Zero throughout this. The SAM cams are a big use, and it's one of the reasons Valkyrie removed is because it's such a big play space over here on the lobby side where the approaches come through. If you put a clever SAM cam in, you get 2 stories of intel across a very wide space. A lot of holds as Rush is going to see if they can clear their way here across the top, though generally okay. There doesn't seem to be a massive extension. It's a pretty default hold here for Secret, and Hellraisers are being a little bit slow on the approach, but it's a cautiousness. It is the first of a day of a best of 5. They know how long these days get, and they went in all guns blazing quite early in their showdown against M&M, and you look at the last couple of maps and they started to lose steam, and I'm wondering if we're going to see a little bit more of sort of marathon pace control from them in this showdown here when they've already had that full stretch test recently.
It's definitely tough to practice in at least just a singular week because there's not been much more in between it. 3 ADSs here on the blue stairs, though, means quite a lot of utility needs to be used in quick succession, as 10 seconds is the recharge timer, of course. And as a result, no EMPs to get rid of it. That probably means they need to toss in all 4 grenades in quick succession just to make sure that those ADSs pop, and that isn't even guaranteeing you the kill yet. So right now what we do see is the hatches to be opened up. This makes it a bit harder for members inside the service stack to fall back. So Slebin and Packbull are going to be stuck in their positions now.
Now Mission's going to see if he can bounce the grenade round onto Packbull. He's going to see if they can lock it off for as long as possible. And to be fair, with the canisters he still has in pocket, he can actually keep this territory for a really long time. And that's what he's doing. You used to see it where it would be thrown over to the default spot if they can slink away, but at this point you're just trying to pressure the amount of time. And with how slow Hellraisers were to get into this position, it just buys them more of a chance. The swing came round and they can't quite get the connection, and Emission gets so low. He wanted to keep pushing and try and find the fight, but the canister was played perfectly. Packbull has a sliver of health, and Slebin is still in a bit of a tight dug-in corner here. It's going to take just a breath to get rid of Packbull, and they're trying to bait out the swing here. And
Can't do that.
he still has ADSs too.
Yeah, they used the SAM cams to get rid of them. They should have committed afterwards, but fell back as small bit of time has been wasted here, and now Slebin is the next line of defense with a beautiful tap here to start it off. That's Exodus removed from the board. Rush falls as well as Slebin now finally gets picked up.
Now it's a double kill over. Smash is going to see if he can find someone from the hatches. They are very close. This could be a gift, and they give the game away and try to slink away, but 2 versus 2. Now as Flezo's going to see if he can get the wall open. Gomfy, he's got a C4 in pocket. He's so close to the fire here, and they're going to push deep to see if they can lock it off. Flezo tries to bait the first fight, finds it, goes for the second, but Keenan has the lock off Crossfire. And to be fair to them, for how long they left it, that was quite close for Hellraisers.
It was a very close round indeed. That surely could have gone the other way around if only they managed to get rid of the player onto the blue stairs first. If only Emission would have, doubled down on it as soon as that smoke canister went off. He was 1 HP, not even. I think it was half an HP or something at that point. That close to Slither was there, but
he was so low it was almost worth a reset.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
you haven't seen for a long time.
No, we haven't seen that for a while indeed. But now, round 1, going Secret's way. Staff room, open area will be up next. Again, see the Mozzie coming out to try and control some of the information and turn it into information of your own. Present Nitro, really important. Can use that one to either create a vertical from above if you manage to retake it, or to toss it out from hatches underneath if you get into a good position for it. That's the big question, of course, because it's not always the case. Now, we did see a match from G2 against BDS here, and that one got me ranting quite a bit, how they didn't use the hard breach on that quad wall to open up. Otherwise, they would have taken a match against BDS. They would have eliminated them and would have been in the finals tomorrow. So let's see if Hellraisers is going to be able to, of course, there is no mute on the board currently, but go for similar attacks that we've seen then, or if they have a completely own way of going at it.
So let's see if this starts to go somewhere for Hellraisers. As I said, there's a caution, and I know you sort of said there hasn't been much between for them to play, but there was the open quals, which Hellraisers took part in. They didn't make it. Unfortunately for them, they were knocked out in, I believe, the last game of the first play day, so they were 1 game away from almost making it. 1 game from 2 games, but still, it's something that they had in the middle of the week. It's something that they had to focus on. It had them a bit of a drive, and they've sort of kept themselves active in top-tier games. And to be fair, that is one of those times where you're wondering if that's the better warm-up, if being able to sit back and be watched, or watch your opponents in this regard, which is what Secret would have been able to do, is something that comes more akin to it. And here might be the payoff. It might be the lessons learned of Hellraisers, as I said, stretching themselves longer and longer, as they seem to still be going for this sort of slow and steady clear across the top. Exodus offering the support to the SAM-cams.
For sure. One of the drones actually has been stolen by Gomfy already. A pre-placed pest managed to catch one off guard, and that might be due to a bit of counter-stratting there. The drone gets spotted. It's Smash asking, is this one of ours? As he's slowly following it, will eventually take it down now as it gets the call that no one is actively droning at that pace. And thus the Mozzie cam has been destroyed. In the meantime, though, from Archives, they managed to get a breach on the board, and Flarezo is currently holding that, is currently trying to contest that. Needs to be careful, though, as he does carry that diffuser. Currently no one in a position to come and help quickly, though, as the Magnet should be catching off that grenade as it comes through. Packbull is still in a very, well, difficult position.
The They're going to see if they can pop open the top, and getting themselves into the small connector box is going to be one of those sightline openers. And as they're seeing the stretch and where the swing round is, because it's a low hold, it means it's going to be a little bit more awkward to sort of get the cross angle. Secret have given themselves a bit more breathing room around the kitchen area, but it can be isolated. And that's the worry, and that's why you sort of drive yourself through the middle there and find that box on the other side.
Yeah.
If the stacks first here with the Buck doing some of the structural work, they have the backline cut off too, and they're limiting the space.
So the Buck opens up so they can get the extra thermic in. That way, impact grenade from above is not going to be as successful as it might be. Second one thrown, third one thrown. Possibly Exodus goes down in the meantime, though, and the extra thermic does get tricked, however.
That was very well played, and Kendrew's here underneath, seeing if he can cause 2 stories of drama. But with Exodus the first off the board in 30 seconds, they're going to have to go aggressive. A perfect grenade by Smash, who's going to see if they can swing around the bottom of green and find where Kendrew's gone. But he's otherwise keeping himself busy, a little bit tucked in. And this is all time that they need to try and swing. But look at the position there on the blue stairs. They're ready to swing around, and it needs Ash to come up on the backside before they can be confident. Kendrew strikes too early, and Kendrew gets rush as well. Smash was too little, too late, and as Emission tries to drive his way through with a cold diffuser in no time, it's the second secret round.
Tried to make it in, but unfortunately no time to spare there. Also the Evil Eye, of course, spotting him out. There was no way that that plant was going to go down at that point. And Team Secret now have their second round here early on bank. And with that, started quite well onto their defense so far. And they're looking to get 1, maybe 2 more. Well, at least 2 more, you'd say. Anything above that would be considered a even better half, especially starting off against Hellraisers here, because Team Secret, well, they have been in that relegation position. It is definitely a big worry in their heads whilst they were playing through the open quals for the 6th Invitational. If they manage to lock it off here, then that worry starts to slowly dim down.
Well, in the open quals for Secret, which is our most recent sort of idea of how they were playing, their first game easily was the one that was the worst for them. They were at one point, I believe, 5-1, if not 6-1 in the negative way. So they had won. And then they pulled it back. And this was in their opening sort of play day game. And then from then on, they were in control of every single map ahead of them. But they were 1 round away from losing out in the open quals, as a lot of Tier 1 and Tier 2 teams did.
From being first round, just like any other team.
Just like a lot of other EUL Tier 1 teams. Yeah, and you know, to sort of have that mentality as well is good, and it shows what they were talking about on the desk, where they said that they've had a lot of mental coaching. They've got themselves in a better frame of mind, in a better framework, where if things do sort of go away from them, they can still piece themselves together. You obviously want to look towards Hellraisers now and see if they have that same stability, because this is 2 rounds where it's been a little bit close. As I said, in the first round, for how long it took them to get in that position, it was almost here. Look at the pace difference now. Exodus is driving their way through. They're not trying to do the slow build and burn with the cameras as they did in the previous rounds and the drones and the SAM cams. No, they know where they need to be, and they're going to make sure that they can get there much quicker to do much more damage to a Secret team that, to be fair, 2 rounds have gone to time.
Now, it's a different setup, though. It's the new default, we can almost call out, with a bunch of castle barricades, long angles being held as well from the B side, all the way over to the A side. So if a bridge comes through, you can still challenge quite safely, and that means that some verticality needs to be taken care of. Grenade will be tossed in from below, though, takes care of the mute jammer, but not Keenan himself, who still lives until he peeks the hatch and gets picked up by Emission. This allows Exodus now to be a little bit safer as well to start opening up vertically.
Look at that difference, though. The opening kill has now happened inside the opening minute. The first time we've seen Hellraisers really drive themselves in towards the building and the site itself. And as I said, it's caught Secret a little bit unaware. You're looking at these positions where Hellraisers are breaking ground onto the site, but they're doing it with 15 seconds left. Now, if that's the thing that they've realized they need to pick up the pace on, it's going to be Secret that have a little bit of a rude awakening as more and more of this pressure starts to build up underneath and around them. Flarezo is going to see if he can get the top and the plant default spot opened up with that connection down into their back line. There's a camera there, which has the ability to swing a little bit wider than it did before, but now it's no longer there.
Tried to use the EMP dart to stop the exothermic to go off, but you need to hit it before it detonates, and well, that failed to actually go off there. Breach is there, still long angles to be held though, but Rush is going to be in a good position to try and cut it off, and as positions are being given away, smoke canisters start popping up as well from the defenders to try and cover the plant from going down. Attempt made by Flarezo, but quickly went back out as the smoke canister worn off. And it's Hellraisers that want a little bit more control before they do commit to that plant. And with Smash coming up from the back, he will be in a crucial position as he picks up one. That is Kendra to drop. He tries to go for more, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do so as of yet.
And that's it. This is this pressure we've been waiting from. It swings around onto Sleben, and he's just able to lock it out. Pops with the cover of the castle window, but at the same time, they're now trying to flood their way through onto the janitor's door and the side of the site itself. Just caught off from Long Desk. The smoke overshot to not quite get the lock, but Emission gets the pickup, and Emission gets one more. The triple locked in, and suddenly it's just Sleben is able to find the window player, but Flarezo is able to find the floor. And with the diffuser stuck now, they have an idea that one was previously down. Whether they've got that back up or not, doesn't matter. Mission with a 4K, and Hellraisers with the first round.
Managed to pick up their round there. Well played by them. Needed to go quicker, went a lot quicker. And as a result, they managed to surprise Secret a little bit. And by this time, you know, they had the actual opportunity to slow down in the end, slowly go for the peaks, wait for the flank to come into place, which of course was Smash, picking up some crucial kills and damage and also attention, allowing the rest to get in position themselves as well. And that leaves us at 2-1. The tertiary side won by Hellraisers, but the lockers and the CCTV will be yet once again unlocked. Secret won that one. It was quite close, however. Gotta remember, a lot of utility used on those blue stairs, not to the fullest capability of Hellraisers. They could have dealt with the player a lot earlier if they would have just swung at that first time. Went through the smoke canister. You can take some of that damage, especially when the nanobots are not active. And it saves you about a minute time compared to that last round they went here. So let's see if they are going to do that, or if they're going to go for a completely different take.
I'm curious to see how much pressure might get put onto blue this time, because for me it's a bit of a flip of a coin. It's either going to be lessons learned from Hellraisers. They're going to try and throw themselves in there with much more abrupt force behind the Samcams burning ADSs that you pointed out before, and they'll see if they can actualize a kill onto Packball sooner rather than later. Or there's always that curious point where now that they know how much is there, they might try and pull away. They might see if they can instead go for the alternate take, which is sort of grown in a bit of popularity here, which is get the hatches onto the vault side and then grow from there. And that might be able to pull some of the Secret players out of position and then allow the approach from elsewhere to be a little bit sharper and smoother. Either way, it's still starting with a storied clear down here as they get the drones and the cams placed. Rush is just going to push and brush their way through, but look at the couple of players holding around the bottom of the staircase.
A lot of utility actually used on the server stack. Saw Banshee there, some magnets, some proximity sensors, and even more than that. So if Hellraisers do decide to go the complete opposite way, they might be bypassing a lot of that utility that they really do not want to deal with, especially not with 15 seconds left. Skinner playing aggressive right here on those stairs, wants to be able to pick up that very first kill. He's waiting to be droned out, and as soon as he does get droned out, potentially will fall back, but it's not really happening yet. And his mission is waiting for a toe or a foot to overstep his welcome. They're not finding it as of yet because, well, the players usually in these positions, and this time Packball, they know exactly how far they can go.
There's the burn, and Emission's actually going to move around, and there it is. The swing comes directly behind it. They pre-fired against the smoke. They knew the dance, and they made sure the steps were in their favor. Kendrew, just before the hatch pops, is going to move in and takes care of the Gemini, but that's not going to be the actual call that they want. Gomfi's waiting above the hatch, hoping that it'll blow, and he can try and get the cheeky C4 over the top, but they've actually long since disappeared. And that C4 isn't going to be gifted to anybody. They've set themselves up. And Kendrew for the swing doesn't quite get the connection there, and they know the pressure's coming through. There go the ADSs. And now they know the second grenade's going to be a bit spicy, so he's going to see if he can follow up and find the fight. It's onto one. He gets the drown, and he cannot quite get the connection, and there it is. The lock off there for Emission, and they're able to get the player back up. Sleben couldn't quite get the response, and I'm not quite sure what's happening there.
Might have been a bit of a lag there either way. Rush picks up yet another kill. Suddenly Hellraisers is getting completely into this matchup here. They just got their first. They sped it up a whole lot here to get rid of the Blue Stairs players. And there's just one left now right behind the server stack as Gomfi tries to go aggressive. He's the last man standing. As soon as he picks up this kill, his position is known, but it's a flawless round from Hellraisers instead. He's not allowed to pick up that first, and that means it's all equaled up now, 2-2. And Hellraisers, well, they might have struggled in those first two rounds, but they realize that they need to speed up, and that's exactly what they're doing right now.
That's it, and it was one of those things that obviously, in our seat, in our position of omnipotence and omniscience, we could say the pace, the lockdown, how Secret were holding and where they could apply that pressure was just to go behind the movements. They were making the right ones, but they hadn't quite clicked in, heated up to the game. This is them. This is them with that sharpness. This is them with that fire. And as I pointed out, it's now making Secret a little bit worse for wear. Secret are the ones whose pace has slipped behind because they started at a casual rate. And it was positions, sure, like in the second round when we had the off-play onto blue that was able to get a triple kill from Kendrew, or in the early round where it came down to scrappy sort of 2 versus 2, 1 versus 1s inside the site itself. Secret's positioning is now becoming a little bit more of a bigger question because it's being stressed much earlier. And it's the question of growth that we're hoping now to see from Secret on their defense. This is Hellraiser's map, but you still want to lead in with a good solid hold.
I mean, we just saw the improvement on Hellraiser's side, where first they used 4 SAM-cams, 3 flashbangs, 3 grenades to get rid of the player on the white stairs. On blue stairs, it was this time just the 3 flashbangs and a mission to follow up on him, because they knew the fallback would be there, because a grenade is often to be following as well. That's the kind of learnings we would like to see during a matchup. These small adaptations that are worth so much, especially as it, well, basically got them around this time. Mozzie Pest being hidden right behind the broom. Wonder if someone is going to be seeing that one. So the rest of Secret is setting up their defenses yet once more here for the open area, with a mission already hammering down onto this first castle barricade. It only takes 9 hits, I believe, right now, and as it has opened up a pretty far of the outlet, is not enough to actually pick up the kill.
But someone else leaned in there with the fight afterwards, and they did suffer just a tiny bit of mission on the swing, but they were able to get it open. And that was just a little bit of busy work that they did early on. And Packbull getting caught out by the drone, just hearing it buzz, he knew that was a more important takedown, because it wasn't that they were expecting a fight or a rush Hellraisers. They were just making that now a question of it's open, and now you got to be cautious about it, Secret. And caution in open is sometimes a bit of a killer with all the big open directions that you have to look and swing towards. It goes back up to a top floor clear as Exodus is going to go a bit slow and steady. They're concerned about the possibility, but remember how they approached this last time. They've pushed Kendra into a new position here to lock off ground that previously at this point they'd already swung into.
Yeah, for sure have, as right now some pretty far, some wallbangs are attempted by the set of Hellraisers on Smash. Not going to be able to hit anything, but at least it gives them the notice that he is coming and forces them to play back inside. Now gets to actually open up a small line of sight, gets rid of the chem, as Kendrew gets rid of the head of Exodus there. That is an important player off the board. It's the buck gone. A lot of the soft destruction that could have been used to open up a little bit more towards the open area now out of the hands of Hellraisers, and that means they need to deal with just 4 men now.
Well, they're going to see if they can get this popped open this time. They've gone for a different approach because obviously the Thermite and the Exothermic was caught by Packball last time. He's able to get a little bit of the Selma, but the fact they get one means it's a little bit more awkward. The grenade over the top doesn't quite connect as they want it to, and as that Exothermic goes down with the work done, it's still Packball driving and destroying anything that's placed on this wall, but they've got a lot more in their pockets, and there's a lot less now in the pockets of Secret. One more swing and Packball's out of anything he can try and apply here, so he just sort of finds a little bit of a tight corner, but it's such a dangerous place to be in.
I was going to say, he tries to stay aggressive here, but he'd been spotted out before. He took some damage before he finally falls back right behind the soft wall. However, takes even more, just on a single bit of HP now, as the sprays keep on coming through from the side of Hellraisers here, but no entry yet with 30 seconds to go. They need to be quick about it.
Well, he went on the cams to see if he can try and slow the roll. Rush is going to rotate round to the pre-opened castle window and try and offer some crossfire. Packbull is just letting loose with an outer onto the door, and there's Kendrew getting one more as he supplies his Christmas gift round to the back of the kitchen. Flezo is behind and finds just a singular. Going to see if he can get the plan off. Rush couldn't even get that pop before his gift was delivered. There's Flezo with a double, but with not much time and with bodies on either side, it looks like it's another round going to the side of Secret.
Managed to do a bit of damage there, however. Got a kill, got 2. And got some wallbang done with a pistol. But it's not going to be enough, of course, for the round to be won. And even though they were a bit quicker here, they managed to open up tons of the walls. The crossfires just weren't there. Maybe someone to push in from the main stairs area could have helped them there. Also, the early loss, of course, of Exodus not really helping out from the vertical angle. Could have been prevented if someone was on the window beforehand. Either way, Lockers CCTV yet again coming out. The last round on this first half. It's Secret currently in the lead with a 2-3 scoreline. Have the opportunity to build out to 4. Whereas Hellraisers, of course, they want to lock this off even and make sure that they have a good go at that second half.
So that's another round that's gone to time, another round that they've been able to play against it. And that time, I think we saw more of a bit of a pressure there from Secret. But I think how much of this is Kendrew at this moment in time. He was always a player. He was obviously highlighted on the desk at the beginning as having so much experience. He's a player that fights. He's a player that keeps claws in a game for as long as he can and has often been a driving force. And here you can see that from the get-go. There's been a couple of rounds that I would sort of significantly hand over to the plays that he's been able to put off. I think both of them are unopen, to be fair, and it's the movement that he's putting in. It's the guessing game he's forcing them to play. It's one you can sort of play on your defense here because there are routes and runarounds that you can sort of take the attackers on, but it's also that moment of, right, well, we want to see some of the rest of Secret start to step into the game, as we know that they can, because so far the rest of the roster hasn't quite been able to hit the boards.
Definitely hasn't been able, indeed. They need to make sure that they're starting to show up, especially during that second half. Now, will Hellraisers be able to pick up a 6th round, or is it going to be Team Secret that gets the 6th? With that, of course, round 4 on their scoreboard. It's definitely starting off strong. It's a shotgun blast to the chest here. A Mission trying to go quick and take out Packbull. This time without the flashbangs leading in, but that, of course, means that shotgun is primed and ready to go. Axis is only now coming to the party and opening up the verticality here. A little bit too late. The order of things seem to be off, and yet again, Hellraiser starts with 1 down, and that means Secret carries the advantage.
I'm not entirely sure how aware Packbull was that there was going to be a body coming around the corner. Obviously, the first pop of the shotgun was for the drone, and then they sort of lent in with the second there because they're already in the motion and the movement from the kill on the drone. It's one of those sort of moments where they try to do a play, they try to go a bit quick.
Yeah.
And we've talked about Hellraiser's game of juggling that throughout the game so far. Here's the alternate take. I talked about them potentially trying, and now they don't really have an option because they've already lost those frags that they had on the pretty consistent lean and the guns that came from behind them. So instead, let's use those can openers on the other side. Let's see if we can try and go for a push that might not have so much utility to burn through.
It's quite clear, actually. Just Packbull watching through a window. Golfy now coming into the vault as well. So there is the opportunity here for Hellraisers to do something about it. If Rush manages to exit... Okay, yes, he did. It manages to exit the window and go towards the garage, because that was his plan, of course. Axis is playing with the camera. Deals 70 damage a shot here. Needs to hit these onto the player that just rotated back towards the vault. And that means that every single member right now of Secret is in a very safe and well-primed position to cover all these hatch drops.
Well, the Sam Cam's getting an alternate angle that we haven't seen from them so frequently before. As I said, it's a slight different push, and the drone doesn't quite get the roll stopped. But that is definitely going to
take it out.
Yeah, just along the side.
Oh,
no.
He missed.
He missed, unfortunately.
Second one coming in. Now he got it. Not quite sure what happened there. Right away. Back in the chems again, 40 seconds on that board. They need to start dropping these hatches, but it took too long. They know exactly where they're going to be coming from now, but Exodus gets the first, tries to go for the second through the smoke here, but he's going to be picked up and set himself. 30 seconds now on the board, and it's Hellraisers trying to find their way in.
Actually connected with the second player through the smoke there, but didn't quite know, and that's always the tricky situation about going in for the blind hot drop. 20 seconds. And buried behind with still 7 players on the board and a couple injured on the side of Secret means that they're going to be scratched and scraped, and there's at least Keenan getting a little bit of a revenge. Gomfy goes down in the meantime, so it's still a 2 versus 3, still very doable, and still Flarezo pushing and Packbull with the trade-off. Now 5 seconds left, Smash is a little bit too out of the way, at least gets the confirmation on 1. But Secret get the 4-2 half.
Not going to be enough indeed. The 4-2 half will be theirs, and that means that they lead into that second half with a small advantage. Of course, going over to the attack themselves now. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to get 4 rounds again. Well, I mean, they only need 3 currently, as it is still, of course, first to 7 to win. Unless we're heading into an overtime situation. Now, staff room open area. Coming up next. It's going to be the first side Hellraisers do decide to go to. And the question, of course, here will be, are they going to be just as successful as Secret has been over their defenses, as they managed to pick up 2 out of 2 rounds up on this site? And with Secret's success, do they have a different way, a better, more efficient way to attack this side and completely neutralize the Hellraisers?
It might be a little bit of a tricky approach. It might be a little bit of the things I've talked about struggling from the side of Hellraisers, apparent on Secret. because I still think Secret's place has been a little bit casual. It's been a little bit relaxed. And I know that's a really tricky thing to talk about when you're on your opponent's favorite best pick map, but a map you don't enjoy playing too much on a comp side, and you're also on a map that, you know, it's still being developed. You're cautious, you're on the back line and the backbone, and you're making sure that you can burn your way through. And, you know, I suppose we'll see if there can be that level of growth from Secret. If they can have the energy of having the 4-2, if that was such a desperation need here, or if Hellraisers can sort of keep some of this control. Because if there isn't that sharpness that we sort of wanted from Secret, it can become a lot more apparent on this half.
It could definitely be. It could become more apparent. We've got to keep in mind as well, it is currently still a marathon. You called it before. It is a best-of-5 situation. It is not just going to be ending right after this map here. They need to make sure to get it. Of course, either team wants to do their best, but you do not want to give your 300% right now, because that just leaves you down on the rest of the maps. Secret so far, they have that advantage. They do have the extra rounds. It is them now that is on the attack, however, on an open area bomb site. Now, that does require some verticality, and they are more than well equipped for it. But of course, the sledgehammer of Keenan is going to make sure that you don't die early like Exodus did in that last round they went here.
The Sam Cams, again, this consistency. It is the gift that keeps on giving on a map like this, and Chalet as well. It's sort of have that presence, that peace of mind of multi-stories of control and lockdown and eyes all over the place. Here, eyes often win you these pre-fire fights. There's a lot of softs, there's a lot of big open space, and there's a lot of angles that you can get your head popped off before you even have a blink. And that is this slow and steady game that's being approached here. They're making sure that they have eyes. There's already been the C4 that's popped out underneath the double swing on the CEO windows, and that's why Secret are giving it a little bit of an arm's length as they see if they can try and locate Exodus, who's trying to do the same. He's had his head taken off as the buck from these angles before, and
yeah, it does.
well, he gets a little bit of revenge. Keenan, the first off to the C4, and the sledge gone.
And right underneath his feet, nothing he could do about it there. Opened up the angle himself, got caught off by it. And now Secret with that man down under attack here. Hatches will be opened up. Hack will taking a small bit of damage here from a small vertical angle that had been used. But nothing too major, nothing that's going to be setting him back too much. These last final approaches here. More verticality, still attempted rush. Still in the Arcus trying to hold on as long as he possibly can. But of course a Prisma in that window that will be providing him information if someone tries to go through it. And Secret, 45 seconds. They need to make sure they don't fall into the same trap that Hellraisers fell into before.
It's not even the same trap at this point. Secret have gone for a slightly different take in the focus round on the backside of open. They're looking at the hatch and stock. They're looking at the hop in on the window that Kenny's trying to lock off here with the Jackal. But it's so trepidatious, especially if you don't have control of that archive side on the far side. Exodus even takes a bit of damage and wants to see if he can drop down before he finds the fight on the hatch. But 20 seconds and it's an easy pickup on one, and there's just a little bit of revenge on the second, but now it's only 2 players left. They've got to find their way into the fight. It's just one, and it's an absolute firing line because Secret just did not have enough control.
No, they definitely didn't. They just tried to go for the hatch drop and hope for the best there. Lost one of the players as a result. You might be able to trade, but if the rest of the members fell elsewhere over the map, there is not much you can do. And as a result, Team Secret lose a little bit of that advantage. Hellraisers, they do climb back. Heading over to the lockers and CCTV next. Their next test, their opportunity to bring it back to level. Pagan with a 4-4. That is, of course, what they want right now. And from there on, build to a potential map victory. And Secret, well, they did not really have that control. They didn't really have the time in the end. And that is something they need to prevent from happening over the next couple of attacks.
I like the play on the Oryx here because I guess it's that Oryx on paper. You go, what can Oryx do? And the answer from the audience is a lot of things. A lot of running around, a lot of wasting time, a lot of exploring a map, which on paper is such a good thing against a team that has just been a little bit slow, because it means that they often have to recheck things. It means they have to have some confidence and some control over locations that they might have already thought was safe. And there are little hidden pockets. There's a lot of hatches, there's a lot of movement and possibility, and there's staircases too. You're looking at ones that are buried inside elevators. But it's also on paper. And how many times have we said, Oryx can be really big here, and then he just isn't, and then he's instantly shut down it could be a sort of bait and a switch, but in the hands of a Mission who's 10-3, who is one of those top 2 players that we talked about from the roster, it can always sort of step itself into this game of, okay, well, maybe this might be the time it gets penned in, and that might be one of those blows to Secret that carries over a little bit more of that caution on their momentum.
It can definitely. I think the most important part here is, especially on this map, there's a lot of these hatches. Think of the lobby hatch. Imagine they get open, but they get left unattended. They might have cleared everything out. All right, no roamers. We have eyes on both those stairs. There is no way up. And then the Orcs jumps up and could just flank them. As he can easily go through those castle barricades as well with just a single Ramadash. So it's something that they need to be well aware of on the side of Secret here, as they do go for that top-down clear. They want to go for top floor, then move their way down towards the first and eventually the basement. Someone is just trying to close off a little gap here next to the main stairs. The question, of course, will be, is he going to be catching one off guard, or is he not going to be able to find any at all?
A steady approach starts here over lobby, which is a big dangerous space, and it seems like they're still being a bit cautious because there is these stretches of land, there are these holes and angles that Hellraiser is keeping them sort of questioning. They're happy to play this aggressive, and that was one of the things I was a bit concerned about when we came over to this side, was, are Secret gonna suffer? A team that has warmed into the game and are happy to sort of bring this stretch to their defense. Almost Keenan getting a little bit of revenge there onto Exodus, who somehow slips away. The bars take most of the bullets, and they're able to breathe another breath, but for how long? As Secret seem to have a little bit more confidence and control over the collapse above. Kendrew finds Smash on the split side as they're popping over the top of lobby and trying to make the deposit of bullets into a second player who's just a little bit too far away, not quite overextending. Amision has some angles, but they also have a lot of pressure coming their way. As I said, they are the operator that almost always has an out. It's just whether he can find it sooner rather than later.
That's it, right? There's a lot of opportunities here, and as the hatch, well, not the hatch, but the ceiling above gets opened up, he managed to get the kill onto Kendrew, and with that, drop that diffuser. Packbull, however, is striking back. He is on that backline, trying to stop the Hellraisers from moving out much further than that, and while with a softball right next to him, this might be a mission going through here. Going over to the left, but it's Packbull that picks up the kill before he gets traded out. He tried to go for a big play there, but instead got picked up as a result.
It could have been huge. The animation cancel just came through in time there for Packbull. After advanced gadget deployments on, there's a lesson. And Exodus is trying to see if he can hold on to open here. The spray is scrappy and the door is open. And that allows Sleben to waltz right in and get one more. But 15 seconds, you're up against an Echo and you still got to get down these stairs. It just takes one of these to connect.
Oh.
And he goes right past the man. He didn't see him. Keenan, that could be a result that comes back to haunt you. The drone is up. It's round. It's down. It's dropped. It's just trying to find it. What a clutch.
Hiding behind the service stack, the one corner that wasn't checked because you expect it to be contested. And it doesn't happen, and as a result, Hellraisers around that shouldn't have been theirs. Gets picked up due to the Yokais coming in the end there. A lot of information, of course, being fed through them, but eventually as well, the clutch with just that sonic burst, the plan denial, the thing the gadget was designed for. In the end, and that brings us back to 4-4. That gives Hellraisers an equal shot to Team Secret and brings us to a small sprint to whoever reaches 6 first.
Ooh, it's bitter. But it is a bitter taste that, to be fair to Secret, they've put in the mouths of a lot of other people. Echo is often an operator that you see in the pockets of Kendrew, specifically on maps like Cafe, or if we end up there, we're probably not going to see the last of Echo today.
Yeah.
It was just that perfect placement. It was the pullback here of the drone. The Jackal could not quite get the connection, desperately tried, and it's a fast-moving little object. It's tough, and that Jackal would have been stunned from the drone as well on that initial hit.
Yeah.
They were quite close together, which means that those shots were even more impossible to take. Sometimes the stars align, and sometimes the star is Little Gadget and a man who believes efficiency is clever laziness.
Exactly, and this time around it worked out as well.
Proven correct.
Didn't have to challenge anything himself, just had to stick right behind the server rack for some extra better connection and get the Yokai in place right in time. And that pushes us to that 4-4. We just said it before as well, and the advantage that Secret had after that first half has just disappeared, has, you know, just evaporated. Now we're not going to that top floor. The tertiary site Secret went for, no. Went out for the archives and the teller's office. That means that an office, or a lobby take rather, is going to be quite important, just as well as that top four, as there is tons of vertical angles that can be used. So Keenan truly in a key position. Now there's 2 of these Nitro cells on the board here for the side of Hellraisers. If they manage to find Keenan with just a single one of that, that is considered a huge success and might be a key to winning the round.
A Keenan, you could say. A little Christmas joke for you.
But yeah, they need to get that verticality going. That's mostly up to Keenan. The first Nitro gets popped early again, yes.
Another early C4.
I'm not quite sure why. Keenan is close. But,
he's close, but I
close
think,
enough.
you know, they're going by the swinging audio and hoping that they get the 50-50 on. He's going to be on these windows or he's going to be on them windows. Either way, it's a C4 in a pocket and it could be a bit of an early giveaway. If it works, it can define a round. Because they're going to open the floor anyway, may as well just make sure it's a little bit more aggressive than they expect. Although it hasn't quite worked for the second time, and Keenan is almost able to find the connection here. Going to probably open a little bit more of a pocket of land around the backside of Rush, who is rushing his way away to some semblance of safety. But he doesn't have to inherently try and stick himself in here. He's just trying to cause as many problems as possible for as long as possible before maybe he slips away.
I mean, there's no stopping for him now. He needs to continue moving because every single time he moves, it gets opened up right above him. Now also takes almost some bullets as he rotates into safety. And this is the setup here, right? You cannot be on the side. They open up everything, so you need to play offside. You need to create these long angles, and that's exactly what Hellraisers have done. And there is, of course, a small weakness to it, and that is going to be that A-bomb site in the teller's office. There's not much you can do there. It mostly relies around these main stairs that Smash is playing against. But if you do manage to lock off those main stairs, suddenly there's just a free way in for the attackers, and there's almost nothing you can do about it.
Smash up on the back stairs. Green is going to see if he can find a sliver of somebody, but it's Gomfy round on the top that gets the lockdown there onto Exodus and Packbull. He's decided he wants to take the territory, but the drone pops up once again, rears a ugly head and gets the knockdown before Rush gets the revenge there. Flarezo pop behind the chassis. They're going to see if they can get a connection here, and it's through the door. And the connection is Packbull to 2 more players, but look at the verticality that's suddenly about to become a huge problem as the pings come through. It's a freebie. It's a wait. It's a Keenan with the cover! He was waiting to see if he could employ the perfect play, but he couldn't quite make the connections in time there. He was waiting for the gift to be delivered, but it was not in his favor. The diffuser is down, and Kendrew is in the 2 versus 1. The bullets spray round. They have plenty of time to see if they can restructure this. Flarezo and Rush, a bit of a split push and an echo drone that's going for a little bit more intel and coverage. They might see if they can double ping and hit. They're just going to see if they can keep the cover as it comes through. The pre-fire connects. Flarezo gets the lock. There's the diffuser, so close to being a heck of a clutch back, but just pulled back by Hellraisers.
That one was almost thrown away. You had the verticality there. They had the opportunity just to take down that diffuser and make sure that that plan would have gone through. Or at least another player would have had to push to it. Get it in the end there, but waited a bit too long, and the flank watch was there. And as a result, it's going to be, well, Team Secret that basically had the upper hand at that moment, but quickly afterwards, the post plant went Hellraiser's way, and they take the lead here. And now they're just a single round away from making it to 6 here up against Team Secret. Just a single round. They completed the full rotation. They're allowed to go back to staff room and open area now. And let's see if Secret has learned any lessons compared to their first attack, just like Hellraisers did.
Well, as we said with Secret's opener, it was not enough that they had. And to be fair, they just sort of went, well, we've got to go for something. Let's go for the stock hatch drop. With the bit of cover that they had from Kendra on the window, it didn't come through because it is, in that case, I mean, it's not even a 50-50. It's a 20% chance you get the landing off, and from then on, you've got to try and fight your way out. It's beyond tricky, and that was proven. But here, that's the lesson that they've now got to learn. It's also worth remembering in that round that they lost Keenan very early. They didn't quite have the comfort over pushing out the players around the very core of this, around behind the lobby area, around the sort of massive server stacks inside the core in the heart, and then the connection onto the small box. And Janitors, you need your self-destruction for that, and he was unfortunately predisposed by a C4.
Yeah, and I think about doing the exact same thing, a pre-play C4. I wonder if this time they actually have information there. Well, we do have Rush on the pulse, so I surely expect them to be able to guide it successfully this time to a kill. I'm not sure what happens otherwise. But they've thrown it twice, and twice they weren't able to catch anybody as a result, so let's see if they can successfully do it this time. Kendra tried to go through by crouching, but Packbull said, no, we just open up that barricade there. There's no need to go slow. They know we're coming from this direction anyway. Of course, Sam Cams will be there to support as well, whilst Rush is trying to get some information of his own. Top floor pretty quickly cleared here by the side of Secret. Drones already in place. They will be aware of the fact that it's safe. However, the big difference here is Rush on that pulse, guiding these C4s and Nitros towards their destination. Again, 2 on the board, 1 pre-placed. That's the one Rush is looking for now. Trying to catch one that repels in.
Keenan is opening up onto the stock side first this time round to see if they can get the stretch and the pressure here instead. The pulse is going to be drawn a little bit further away as they realize the top floor has fallen away from the windows. It's not even a risk, but there's still that pre-placed. And that's still something that Rush is going to be calling out the moment Keenan might drift over to what becomes a pretty firm bit of territory, not only because the Aruni gate's there, which sort of baits the idea, well, we're going to be playing in this territory, but also the punch holes. It's where the pulse feels the most confident, and that's why Keenan is leaving it till last. He doesn't want to get caught out by a bit of gadgetry that they know has otherwise played here. But look at the timer, and look at what Secret are still doing. They don't massively have themselves in positions or angles of pressure onto Hellraiser's defense. Sure, a couple of softs and stock now open, but still the positioning isn't in a place where they can try and get the collapse. At this point, Hellraisers had pressure on the quad wall. They had the lockdown onto Tellers, and here Secret are still sort of kind of numbing their way through.
And then the Nitro blown up and no results yet as Rush now tries to make his way out. Keenan only just started opening up right above him here. Still that pre-placed C4 next to the double windows, but that is not going to be picking up anybody right now. Breach will be coming through from the Thermite, but yet Hellraisers still have some good positions. They have some good angles here, and those are currently not being challenged due to the fact that Archives is not in their control. With this hatch opening up as well, they have an opportunity to get back at them from the back, from the flank, and that could pick up Kendra and Packbull as a result.
The exact flank that Kendra did to cause so many problems for the approach here on Hellraisers before might be what punishes them here, because you're looking at only 15 seconds left in the round, and the Pulse is calling all of this out to them from underneath. They're sort of saying, here stacked up, we got to cause a bit of a ruckus here. Packbull has to try and drive this through. He's going to plant just on the door. They're going for a very bold play. They get the major kill inside Archives. Kenny has a little bit more cover over the top, but they just downed him. They just pulled the sliver, and for the second time in a row, Hellraisers scrape through onto this time ending.
Rush there was waiting for the smoke to dissipate so he could start pushing through and end the round, but it would have been too late if he waited for that. And as a result, you know, it looked like Team Secret was going to be able to get that plan down, but again, they leave it too quite late. They forced themselves to go for a plant in a not optimal position, and that paid out for Hellraisers in the end. Managed to get that down, managed to put themselves onto a map point now to get the first over Team Secret in this best of 5. It is such an important map, especially for the mental game. You want to start off strong as Santa comes in yet once more just to lighten up that mood for Team Secret.
Why is he there? What?
I don't know. Production's just having a lot of fun with this, with our special Christmas theme. I wonder if we have any other Santas.
In the words of Medics in my ear, it's funny.
Medics was talking to us right before we went live as well.
Yeah.
As he usually does.
Words of encouragement.
Words of encouragement.
It's frustrating for Secret. It's frustrating not just, you know, we've got to take everything into consideration. It's the opening map, but you're the tier 1 team, but it's not your map. But at the same time, it's a map that, you know, neither team, whether it's a preference or not, I think Hellraiser's more picked it because they sort of enjoy it, but Secret don't like it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look at that Echo round. Look at that round we just had. It's so bitterly close so many times, and they're trying to do so much. And I think that bitterly close is why we're seeing this combination here. The Tachanka and potentially the Warden is a little bit more of a sneaky play, but the Vigil bait is you're going to spend another 30 seconds clearing above now.
For sure, you got to make sure that it's absolutely not there. But the Warden is going to be an interesting pick. I expect Smash to bring the shotgun. I'm not sure. No, he brought the MPX, actually. All right. No, then my theory goes out of the window. I thought he was going to be playing on those blue stairs, wait for flashbangs to come in so they're, you know, very confident about their push, and then just use the smart glasses to get rid of the player there. But Not the case. So I'm quite interested to see. Probably playing in the back line then, just waiting for a smoke execute to come into play, because that sometimes comes through. Just to run right behind the bomb chassis, as the default spot often gets smoked off. C4 this time around, Molotoved by the Shumika launcher, and there's a bunch more of them than there is from the smoke canister. 14 in total compared to just the 3.
I mean, you look at that most recent plant, and it was an attempt with smokes. It hasn't been the biggest consistency that we've seen in terms of Secret's engagement, but it is something that now, obviously, in the pockets of the Jackal, they've got the smokes that they might need for the cover.
Yep.
We've seen some big play by Kendrew over the top and through those smokes, and it's just another play as a sort of ploy and distraction to slow down this approach. The Pulse is still potentially causing problems here. They've brought the Ana to see if they can be a little bit more of a direct drive at this point. Pulse is currently very far away. He's watching the doors of the garage to hope he can get a bit of a cheeky swing and pick on the player that might pop their head round in the corner. It's still not too far away from Secret bringing this to OT. It's still at 2 rounds that could have very easily been theirs were it not for the death of an Echo drone or the Echo themselves, or were it not for just some bullets not quite getting the catch. There's a reveal, there's a pop, there's a pulse in a garage. No one's in the immediate strike for him.
Again, Sleben, a very crucial player here, has these smokes, needs to make sure that he stays alive, and the Secret seems to have cleared out that top floor with just a minute on the clock gone. They're now heading towards that first. That is going to be the most important part, and as Keaton starts opening up just ever so slowly, they're soon coming into that player that is around these blue stairs. There is a shield, there is ADS, there's a bunch of utility that they can use to try and safely guide themselves through it. Now, there's also 4 grenades. Those are definitely going to be attempted to get a mission from.
I think it's the play here, like, unless they're playing those smokes quite aggressively, and even then, the shield gives them a little bit more of a swing, but the thing is, it's a burn of ADSs, and then a grenade will destroy everything at the top. So that shield, if my opinion, was a little bit misplaced, because either way they're going to be holding that. It might stop the immediate swing, but at the same time, here's the push, here's the pressure, and there's a lack of a connection there. Gomfi cannot quite get Emission, who tucks himself all the way in the corner, was playing that quite casually. The drone is just going to give a little bit more of a game away. There's another smoke canister pop, there's the hatch dropped, and that is Emission getting out of there before things become a little bit too tricky. Exodus is now that front defender here, and that's 2 more drones. Either side dropped from the side of Secret. They get a bit of a spray through onto the Jaeger. Kendrew's going to see what he can make happen, but 40 seconds. And they've finally been able to find their first now as they drive themselves towards the default wall.
Was a key player they needed to clear out, because that leaves them with the time they need to go for an execute here. They still need to open up the side wall. That's exactly what is going to happen now, but Flares will start opening up with these Molotovs, with the Shumikas, literally putting everything on fire for these 20 seconds remaining, and Kenru needs to find a good spot to try and go for a plant, as the rest of Secret is about to be dropping in right here. They want to go aggressive. Smoke canisters are coming out. The question is, where is the Warden right now in a position to try and cancel it? Doesn't seem to be the case here, as it's only up to Packbull now to get that planned out. Is him and Kendrew now in a post-plan situation in a 2v3.
Very cleverly, they head upstairs, and he can't quite get the connection, but he does get the down rush. Is off the board for the foreseeable, and, well, it's Emission that drives themselves home. They should be able to get the pickup, but it's dangerous because they're not entirely sure where Kendrew is. He has the watch on the diffuser. It's in a slightly more aggressive place, finds the first kill, and pulls away, looks for the dance on the second. They're both trying to find him, and Emission takes the head off of Kendrew, and the first map, it was theirs, but they made sure to punctuate that sentence with an exclamation point. Hellraisers lead us in 1 map to 0.
That was a 4-2 split for Secret, but on that second half, they weren't able to sneak out a single attacking round up here against the Hellraisers, and that leaves them, of course, first of all, elite animation. You just saw it now with the NEL skin, but more so on that map victory here. They started off strong. They still have 2 map wins to go, though, but this definitely helps them in their mental game.
It's 2 to go. Hey, look, there's Milosh. They're hiding behind the
He's hiding
tree.
behind the tree.
Is he going to take the tree? He's trying to get
He's going to hug it.
He's doing a whole bit. He's doing a whole bit. Wonderful Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Is our Milosh. But that was the opener, and that was their map. That was their fight to take, and they took it very, very well. It's a little bit of a wake-up for Secret, but it's also worth noting that that wasn't their map pick. It's not a map that they've enjoyed previously, but we'll leave that for the desk to break down. We're going to try and open these gifts and see if we can work out what they've got us. See you after this.